Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Quran Daily, where I take a chapter of the Quran, read it in Arabic, but discuss it in English, starting from the very end because those are the shortest chapters, and we want to do a chapter a day for the holy month of Ramadan. My name is Ahmed, and I welcome you on this journey with me. Before I begin, I must always explain that I am not an Arabic linguist, nor am I a Quranic scholar. I'm not studied in these matters. In fact, some of these verses I'm reading for the very first time with you. And I am just trying to learn and see what I understand and see what I can gain from it. And if I say something wrong or if I mis-explain something and you have a different perspective, please put it in the comments. I'd love to learn from you too. I'm hoping that you learn from my journey and that I learn from your comments as well. This is an educational channel, so the more that we do that, the better. But now we're getting into chapter 93, which is Ad-Duhaa. And before we begin, we must always say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which means I seek refuge from God, from the devil, and in the name of God, who's most merciful and whose mercy is most encompassing. And off we go. Wad-Duhaa. Now again, we see it starting with wa, which means and. But here, I like the translation, by the morning brightness. It's God swearing by the morning sunlight. Wad-Duhaa. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, and the night, and by the night when it's covered in darkness, when it falls stills. So God swearing by both of those. I may have explained this in the previous chapter. I may have confused my two verses. Sharh is to the relieving of the burden. This is the one where the Prophet was feeling like God had let go of him. ما ودعك ربك وما قلى, which means God has not forsaken you, and He is not displeased, nor has He become hateful. وما قلى. وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى, and the hereafter is better for you than the first. So here, we see God talking to the Prophet in a moment of doubt, where he felt like God wasn't sending him any revelations, and he's like, is God displeased with me? And it's kind of just showing you the doubt that he had, and God putting that doubt to rest, and then God reminding him that the hereafter is better for you than the first, which this is kind of the main philosophy of the Quran, that the second life, the afterlife, after we die, is better for us than the first life. But then it continues saying, following the hereafter, وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى, and soon your Lord will give you so that you will be satisfied. Will give you so much that you will be pleased. And surely, it doesn't say soon, وَلَسَوْفَ, and God will give you so that you will be satisfied. أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى, didn't He find you an orphan and He gave you shelter? And this is, if you may know a little bit about the Prophet Muhammad, he was an orphan at a young age. So he was an orphan, and then he was given a shelter. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى, and He found you lost, so He guided you. And this is something that I personally relate to a lot, because I have been lost in the past, and I have been guided by God. So this is absolutely true for me, and it's so personal, so real. وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى, so He found you in need, so He made you self-sufficient. And I've heard an explanation, some people saying عَائِلًا means like a family man, so He gave you, satisfied your need. But yeah, let's see if we can translate it into Google Translate and see if that makes it. He found you poor and He made you rich. I think that's clear. He found you needy and He satisfied your needs. Again, all the reminders that God is talking to the Prophet. Now here is the commands from God. So with all of these things that God has given you, فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ, so as far as the orphan, then do not oppress the orphan. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ, and the one who asks, the beggar, do not repulse them, tell them to go away, stay away from me. Don't kind of pull away. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. And as for the favor of your Lord, then narrate. It's a beautiful, beautiful expression and verse, chapter. So for me, it's again talks about the humanity of the Prophet, of like his doubts and his connection to God, and that God reassured him and reminded him. And then the commands that he gives him to do, I don't think it's like specifically telling the Prophet don't oppress the orphans because he was oppressing orphans, but I think it's a message more to all of us reading, to all of us understanding, and to remind us all that even though he's saying this to the Prophet, it also kind of applies to us. Found you in need and made you self-sufficient. He gave you what you needed. This is something that we all can relate to. We've all needed stuff in our lives, and we've all got them. Otherwise, we'd be dead. Like you need food, you need shelter, and God provided for us. So trust in Him. So for me, it's a beautiful, beautiful expression of the connection that the Prophet Muhammad had with God, and the connection that we can learn from. Yeah. I love it. Fantastic. Sounds good. As usual, we always end with Sadaq Allahu al-Ali al-Azim, which means trusted to the word of God and who's most elevated and most high. And I appreciate you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one. Ma salam. Bye.